talk a little about what it is.
So for those of you who don't know, misoprostol actually was first used to treat peptic ulcers. But what they found is it's a very good uterotonic drug. So it works very well to cause the uterus to contract. And many years ago, when I was still working in high-risk OB, it was just coming out where we were using it in hospitals, more or less if there was postpartum hemorrhage. It was not used to induce labor at all because it can be quite strong. And when we started to work in Tibet, there was very limited options of what we could do because of being so far out in the community and not having refrigeration. Pitocin, which is commonly used, which is an injectable drug, has to be refrigerated. So it has to be in the cold chain. So places like where Carlos is working and places where we work in Nepal and in Tibet, miso is a very useful drug because it can be given either orally, 4 tablets. You can also give it vaginally or rectally. And it works really well to contract the uterus. It works so well to do that, that the fear of many governments in some countries is that in the hands of the wrong people, people will use it to abort their pregnancies. And if it's also given at the wrong time or too much or different things like that, it can cause the uterus to rupture. But we used it very safely in Tibet with very good results. Nepal actually has a huge campaign going on now, and they want misoprostol to be available out in every community, that women can actually, go and get it. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in Nepal, and it has been used in a lot of countries, in Indonesia and Bangladesh, at home births, and it works really well. Mexico happens to be one of the countries, being Catholic, that does not allow the use of misoprostol outside of Mexico City and outside of hospitals. So in that situation where Carlos is working, the most common cause of death is postpartum hemorrhage. And Pitocin is not available in very remote areas because we don't have refrigeration or electricity there. So we're looking at other things that we can use for postpartum hemorrhage when you don't have access to drugs. And there's some new things coming down the line. One of them is basically you can use a condom and attach it to the end of a Foley catheter and insert that into the uterus, blow it up like a water balloon, and then it causes it's a uterine tamponade, basically. So if you have a cut and you want to stop it from bleeding, you put pressure on it. And that's what you can do. You can blow up the balloon inside the uterus with water, and it acts as a tamponade, and it gives you 2 days, actually, to transport somebody, and it stops bleeding. So we will be training people in Mexico to use that. We will be using it in Nepal, where miso, in the areas where it's not available right now. But I still think that misoprostol is a really good drug and used in the right circumstances. And of course, if they have Pitocin, that should be given first. But in areas where they don't have it, and they can't use miso, then the uterine tamponade is going to be great. That's what women die of, usually, postpartum hemorrhage.
So good question. Can I add, if you want to see what the condom tamponade system looks like, just go to our Facebook page. I actually took some pictures and you can see what it looks like. It's pretty handy. People in Mexico are really excited about it because it costs $2 to be able to do this. And it's things that people have in clinics that is very simple to use.